Ah, hell. I'm in the wrong game again. Hello everyone, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. I just had my morning coffee. I'm ready to jump right into it. So let's start a new episode of Far Beyond the World. Ha, I broke the chain of intros. This one's different. New content. But anyway, guys, so we just got done with the feast, and... Uh-oh, what's happening here? Whoa, what's this? No, I can't do that. Alright, guys, sit back and enjoy, and let's jump right back into it. Alarm chain, you're up, and let's begin. Soft growls escape their throats, and fangs begin to show ever so slightly as they strain against each other. Oh yeah, he's arm wrestling. I feel my heart speed up as I get wrapped up in exhilaration caused by the mixture of their labored huffs and onlooker cheers. Even the chief is observing the match, laughing and holding idle chatter with some of the other wolves. But as impressive as this display is, it's clear Vul has the upper paw, and slowly begins to twist Ranok's arm towards the table. Despite everything, I cheer for Ranok, but I can see their little spat gets a bit too competitive for my liking, as soft growls evolve into vicious snarls. Although others are cheering on, I'm getting slightly uncomfortable with the amount of aggression on their muzzles, and suddenly my proximity unnerves me. I try to stand up and move away from the table, my heart getting back into that familiar prey mentality, when I bump into one of the wolves passing by, who instinctively pushes me back right into Volgar's lap. Oh! I land on the black wolf's thighs with slight embarrassment, as he looks down at me with complete surprise. Ranok uses this to his advantage and quickly slams Vul's paw right into the tabletop. Ha! I knew that kid was my lucky charm! He shouts out with satisfaction, standing up from his seat and raising his paw triumphantly. Everyone starts to cheer while I blush up at the remark. Little jinx. The black male gazes at me, and there's no ire in his eyes, just mild amusement. A discreet wink seals this, and he helps me back to my seat. With the match concluded, most of the wolves return back to their previous occupations, idly chatting away about their tribal affairs. I start to slowly doze off here, stopping myself a few times from keeling over. Finally, around midnight, the wolves begin to disperse, and once the chief stands up bidding everyone good night, it is a sign we can head back home. Will you come with me to the villa? And stay the night again? You sure want that sort of reputation? With the number of pups easily traceable to your loins running around, I don't fear idle gossip. With you, you would know best what comes out of my loins, wouldn't you? The fuck did you say? For a moment, it seems like Vithir crossed a line, as the chief gives him a dead stare, but then both wolves erupt in laughter. One of these days, I swear. One of these days, Lois, one of these days! God, you know, when you think about that, that show was really dark. That dude was just, like, constantly threatening to beat the shit out of his wife. Yeah. I chuckle at their exchange, but also sigh in relief. Trist. Ranok looks to the bunny and bangs his chest, followed by patting his arm. Oop, 1 second, guys. Okay. The bunny nods and rushes off. This was exhausting. As much as I enjoyed seeing everyone having fun, I don't think I'd be able to manage this on a regular basis. Not with me having to keep quiet, might as well be a fucking tree here. I feel sorry I could not fully participate. There were so many fascinating wolves around. But then again, even if I could speak, what would I have to offer? I had no idea what they were talking about half the time, and my point of reference is completely alien. Eventually, Ranok comes over to me, extending his paw in an inviting gesture. Ranok's a cutie. I grab onto it reluctantly, and he leads us back to his home. I snuggle into his biceps, fueled by the alcohol haze, but he doesn't seem to mind. Interesting. As we approach the cottage, I notice smoke coming up from the chimney and an orange glow floating out the windows. How are the lights on? I asked Triss to get the fire going. I thought you let him go. I did. Doesn't mean I cannot ask him to run some errands. Careful, the step... I know. I nod, hopping over the uneven stone. As we enter the house, I greet the warmth of the already burning hearth with a wide smile. It got quite chilly. Ranok quickly removes his gear and I follow suit, unpinning the cloak and returning it to the hanger. We don't talk, both of us clearly bothered by how the day played out. The silence is palatable, and it's just a waiting game until one of us breaks it. It would seem it wouldn't be him, and I lack the courage. Ranok simply approaches the cupboard and slushes his face with water. Once he's done, he walks slowly towards the bedroom. I take my turn at the water bowl, cleaning my face and hands. I'm really quite confused about what the hell actually happened out there. I gaze reluctantly at the other room and slowly move towards it. He's just sitting here at the foot of the bed, idly toying with something in his paw. I sit down next to him, keeping appropriate distance and allowing silence to claim us. The white glow of the moon seeps into the room through the window, and we both keep staring at the shadows. Finally, he exhales and looks at me with a saddened expression. Well, tonight was a complete disaster. Yeah, could have gone better, though. He simply nods. I seem to have angered you somehow. At times I thought you were trying to get back at me. The wolf takes a deep sigh. I may have acted a little bit childish. It's nice of Vul to intervene. So that's what it was. Vul doesn't act nice by default. We kind of forced his paw. I just don't understand. What on earth were you thinking? We told you to stay away from Tano. Why would you willingly sit next to him? He sounds almost accusatory, and I stumble to find the right words. It was a spur of the moment. Everyone was looking at me. Now that I think about it, it didn't make sense. I could have ignored him, but I felt such pressure from all the wild stares that I simply obeyed. And then you let him crawl all over you. Hold on, no, that's not fair, I interrupt him, feeling as if I'm taking a stand on trial. You think I enjoyed that? What was I even supposed to do? Make a scene because a guy's being polite towards me? I tried to help you out, but each time I did, you were shutting me down. You were causing a scene! I was. The wolf stands up, looking at me with a clear hurt in his eyes and subduing a soft growl. What about you prancing around with a mortal wound in your side? Was that not a scene? I'm taken aback by his harsh questioning, but he is right. I slapped my forehead in annoyance at my own stupidity. I got so drunk and winded up, I completely forgot about the wound, not aided by the fact I can barely feel it half the time. That's what the dance was about? Why didn't you say so? I was angry and hurt. His voice slightly wavers and he looks away. Hurt? Why would you be hurt? You pushed me aside and then... He presents me his paw. His clawed fingers opening up to reveal my lucky dandelion resting in his palm. I feel my stomach churn, remembering how I ceremonially placed it in my pen, just to simply lose it. What? How? During that damn dance. You didn't even notice. The tone of his voice causes my heart to sink. He really took my earlier sentiment to heart while I treated it so lightly. Again, he proves how much he values what I say, or feel. Seems even more so than I do myself. Ranok, I mutter apologetically, picking up the flower from his paw. It's fine. Versa was right. I did throw you to the wolves. I should have been more understanding. You were doing your best. Even Vul was smart enough to notice you needed support. Vul, of all wolves. He scoffs at himself. We were under a lot of stress. When my father started paying close attention, I didn't know what to do. I panicked and did the first thing that was expected of me, be an eligible heir. Anything to make him lose interest in us, so I played along. Even though I still think his flirty behavior had more to it, I can see now that he was putting up a front. At least, that's what I told myself. I might have used the situation to also try and get under your skin. That she-wolf. He nods apologetically. She was trying to make me jealous. So he was trying to make me jealous. But why? It's all because of that meddling bastard. He always tries to fuck with me. Well, he fucked with both of us. I try to comfort him. In truth, we both allowed ourselves to be played like chumps. Yeah, I know. Still, I had hoped that for once I would have an actual ally at that table. He says calmly, but it's not the tone. But the choice of words that cuts deep. He felt alone, abandoned, just as I did. This whole night, each of us desperately sought a life buoy, drowning without even realizing that we're just inches away from the safety of a friendly shore. I'm sorry for leaving your side. It's all right. He tries to compose himself, slowly rebuilding his walls. It's obvious Ranok doesn't like to show cracks in his facade. Good. I decide to play along, to let him know I support him no matter what he chooses. Because you got back at me. He gives me an inquisitive side-eye, and I decide to lighten the mood. By the end of the night, you were literally drowning in bitches. I start at my own joke, but Ranok does not seem amused. It was supposed to be our night, but as always, he had to fuck it up. But if he thinks I'll stand idly by as he messes with my happiness once again... He cuts off, subduing a wild snarl. I know he was talking about us, but why did he say happiness? The next time he touches you will be the last time he had paws. I wince slightly, seeing as his furs bristle and fangs poke out in a vicious snarl. He drills his intense gaze into me. It feels very territorial, almost possessive. Ranok! I try to calm him down, touching his clenched paw. The male regards me with a sorrowful gaze, and I feel so incredibly sorry for him. We were meant to be there for each other, and yet we allowed a little troll to set us against one another. His rattled breath begins to slow down as I stroke his paw. I didn't realize he feels so strongly about me. So far, I thought it was all his fate mindset, that he just protected his path, but it seems there's a bit more to it than that. The alcohol haze is muddling my judgment, and I lean over towards him. Without thinking, I want to plant a kiss onto his cheek, but manage to stop myself halfway over. He notices that and blinks, turning towards me with a shocked expression. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I swallow heavily and pull away, seeing his wild stare drilling into me. Fuck, I'm drunk. What the hell am I thinking? I scoot further away, towards the headboard, afraid of his reaction. He said he's not gay, and I've seen plenty of evidence at the feast. I have crossed the line. Before I realize it, he rushes me, slamming us hard against the board in a tight embrace. A gasp escapes my lips as he dives in. Whoa! He liked him in! He liked him in! A gasp escapes my lips, and he dives in for a kiss. It's deep and passionate. I keep staring into his closed eyes, not sure what's actually happening. His paws venture freely across my body as he leans us over onto the bedding, not breaking the seal on our lips. I'm practically enveloped by his massive form, his soft fur brushing against my naked skin as we sink into the mattress. Snug in such an embrace, I surrender myself completely, realizing how much I wanted this. One paw cups my head, while the other caresses my side, sending shivers across my entire body. Despite my complete surrender, he's not being forceful, reacting to my every twitch with his tongue. Time slows down and I simply let go of my inhibitions, relaxing my muscles and my lips, allowing him full reign over me. But eventually our lips part and I look at him star-eyed as he breathes heavily, brushing my hair with each labored puff. Now you got a mouthful of dog slobber. What the fuck just happened? I can feel his chest press against mine, and I again feel that familiar poking towards my groin. Ranok, I muttered through a blush, causing the male to snap out of his stupor. He pulls away almost in panic, clearing his throat. Sorry! I had too much to drink. So did I. I want to reach out to him, but he simply grabs a few blankets from the bed and heads towards the doors. I think it's best if we return to our prior sleeping arrangements. What? What? Without a word, he simply rushes to the doors and leaves, shutting them behind him. Well, that didn't go well. Oh well, the cracks are slowly showing. We'll get there. I'm left there, completely confused. Did I somehow make a mistake? For a moment, I consider going after him, but my head still spins with the haze of the wine fed to me by Tano. Motherfucker messes with me even when he's not around. That white piece of shit is dangerous. I slammed my fist against the bedding, realizing this was the worst possible time for us to unload this shit show. He said he's not like me, and the kiss felt completely genuine. Fuck! I just slump into the bed, screaming silently into the pillow. I'm so helplessly confused. This is my never-ending nightmare. Uh-oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. I'm stirred from my blissful nothingness, forced back into the waking world. A world which I tried to escape so desperately over the course of this night. I can still feel his lips linger on mine. I want to sleep, to stay here, unconscious and unaware. But above all, I don't want to feel the confusion and hurt left by that kiss. Yet something persists, reaching out to me through the veil. I hear a faint call. It almost sounds like a hum song woven together from many voices. Wake up. I want to ignore it, but its melody promises me comfort I have been craving all these torturous hours, and I finally give in. I open my eyes, looking drowsily around. It's still dead of the night, yet the bedroom is bathed in the white glow. I could almost mistake it for a day, had it not been for the ambient blue tint. There's an odd tightness in my chest, which forces me fully awake. The air is humid, almost choking. It's hard to breathe, and my gasps rattle me further. I have to step outside, even if it's just for a moment. I simply need to catch some fresh air before another panic attack sets in. I hop off the bed and approach the door slowly, mulling carefully over my decision to leave while I do so. I don't want to wake up the wolf, but I also cannot stay inside. My skin feels on fire, as if the air itself burned me. I grab onto the handle, trying to turn it without making much noise. The bolt clanks softly as I unlock the doors. I try to open them as quietly as possible, but the hinges screech in prolonged agony. There's no other way around it, so I pull the doors ajar as fast as I can. Once I peek into the main room, I can see Ranok sleeping on the floor next to the now cold hearth. I feel bad for occupying his bed, but it was his choice to sleep here. Normally I would rather trade places with my host, but I'm still not over how we left things off. Although I can understand his inner conflict, it wasn't fair of him to just leave me like that. I can see him move, and for a moment I think the wailing hinges have woken the male, but he only assumes a more comfortable position on his pile of blankets. When I realize he's still asleep, I sigh in relief and begin moving towards the outer doors. However, as I pass next to him, the floor creaks and I stop dead in my tracks. I throw a cautious gaze to the wolf, only to notice his troubled expression. He strains his eyes shut, body slightly twitching, while his tail gives frustrated flickers. Although he's quiet, his labored breath leaves no doubt that he's having a bad dream. Serves him right. For a split second, I throw my head towards the door, thinking it's a fair punishment for what he'd done. But then I realize I'm not that petty. This isn't me. Although some parts of my mind already succumbed to anger, I managed to wrestle back control. I looked at him with pity, quietly kneeling next to his form. I placed my hand onto his forehead, gently petting him. I know he didn't mean to hurt me. I've learned by now that the wolf is himself aching, and every of his actions is meant to spare me as much pain as possible. I'm not going to add to our troubles through some petty resentment. As I ruffle his fur, his breath slows down, and his expression softens, whatever tormented him banished by my touch. Once he's settled into a more comfortable dream, I cannot help but smile. Let at least one of us have a peaceful night. I take a deep breath and stand up, continuing towards the exit. I open the door slightly, peeking through the crack to see if anyone's outside. There's no one around. I cannot even see the sentries where Ranok said they usually camp. For such a party, I bet everyone is simply fast asleep, or perhaps the location of the guards rotates on a night-to-night basis. Whatever the reason, it's quite fortuitous. Relieved, I step outside. The night is warm, with spring winds bring more of a much welcome southern air. I walk slowly towards the chair, content on simply staying out on the porch. I sit myself comfortably, almost like a lord on the throne overlooking his serene domain. Despite the cold wood tickling my naked skin, I don't complain. It's a nice sensation compared to the scalding heat which interrupted my peaceful sleep. A stray bead of sweat trails my face, a reminder of that odd feeling. I wipe it off, admiring the scenery. I can't get over how bright everything is, with the waning moon glowing in its full glory. I don't know why, but I feel like taking a short walk, invited by the white light. With a scoff, I get up and approach the steps, jumping over the uneven stone. Fool me once, I mutter in amusement, stepping onto the path and trying to decide where to go. The village doesn't seem a good idea. Even if I gained some good faith, snooping between the houses in the dead of night would quickly undo all that. 1 second, guys. Okay, which only leaves the woods. Normally I wouldn't even entertain such an idea, yet an uncharacteristic sense of courage fills me tonight, aided by the luminescent glow showering everything around me. Besides, Ranok seems adamant that the area around the village is quite safe. Well, there was a damn gigantic boar there. At first, I step off the path cautiously. However, the deeper I get into the woods, the more at ease I feel. For some reason, the forest seems almost welcoming, as if it awaited my arrival. I can't help but admire how dense and lush it is. Surely I've seen woods in my life, but they've never seen this natural, almost undisturbed by the hand of men. But I'm quickly reminded that this is no ordinary forest. I touch the trees as I pass them, noticing some having their names already claimed. It's an odd feeling, knowing that each of them represents a person. Drake, Talon, Cora, each wolf living their life alongside a name tree. It's almost surreal to think about, and my imagination runs wild. I try to picture a ceremony where a wolf claims his tree. How does that even work? I like to think that the entire village is present, as they observe the youth inscribe their name into the bark under the careful eye of the shaman. It must feel quite something. A milestone for sure. I trail Cora's name with my finger. The etching, although simple, has an undeniable feminine touch to it. Her tree is a young, slender birch, and unlike other carvings, this one is still bleeding sap. I rub it between my fingers. I guess her name has been claimed quite recently. I decide to continue my walk, slowly meandering between different trees and shrubs when I suddenly come to a stop. My eyes open wide in an unexpected My eyes open wide at an unexpected yet in retrospect an inevitable sight. I cover my lips, overwhelmed by a surprising torrent of sadness washing over me. A tree in front of me, huge and sprawling, has its name crossed out. Beneath a moonstone tied around the trunk signifies that a wolf's journey has come to an end, and he has been laid to rest here. It must have stood here for decades, if not centuries, looking down upon those who would pass by. And now it looks down upon me. I approach slowly, surprised by my own reverence, stopping mere inches before an ancient, rusty sword half grown into the trunk. I can only assume it means I'm face to face with a once mighty warrior. I struggle to decipher the crossed-out etchings. Ren? I mutter with slight doubt. However, speaking the name aloud almost feels as if I'm breathing life back into the fallen wolf. I look up as a sudden gust of wind rustles the leaves above me, and a slight chill creeps down my back. Alright guys, I'm going to pause it right there. That's been a new episode of Far Beyond the World. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!